with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 meeting of the Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee was posted on the township's website and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this remote meeting would take place via WebEx at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 10th.
Okay.
Go ahead and do call to order. Sorry,
Okay.
roll call.
All right, Vanessa Jones,
Present.
Anne Marie Orleski. I see you, Anne Marie. Chuck Martin,
Here.
Jim Kolagowski,
Here.
John Hurling.
Here.
Who am I forgetting? There's gotta be, am I forgetting anyone? No, we know Mark is not here, Chris is not here. That's it.
Bill
Yep,
Kramer's not here, so,
Mayor Kramer is not here. Yep.
okay. So,
Okay, so that's all of our members that are here.
Okay.
do we have any citizens online?
We do, yep.
So the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the July 2022 minutes. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the July minutes.
I'll second it.
Any need for discussion? No. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstain? Okay. All right. So moved. Like to, can somebody make a motion to open for public comment?
So moved?
Second.
Okay. And Tara, you said at this time there's nobody there, right?
No, there is.
Oh, there is,
Hang
sorry.
on one second. So first on the line, we have Teresa Thorson. Oh, hold on, Teresa. I think I moved you. Let me see here. Teresa, are you there? I don't know if she can hear me. Teresa, can you hear me? Okay, well, we have Teresa there. I don't know if she might just be here to listen to the presentation, but if you can hear me, Teresa, and you have any questions, just send me a message, or, we can always bring it back in.
Yeah, I'm muted. It's okay. You can come by.
Oh,
You can just
Jim,
walk by.
Jim, you're not muted.
You're
Oh,
not
I am
muted,
muted.
okay.
Okay. My son wants to know whether they can walk by.
We also have Bill. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How you doing?
Good. Any comments for right now?
Nothing yet, thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Um,
before we go, just to let you know, for some reason, my internet connection is coming in and out. And the only place I can find it is I'm standing here in my living room with it on one of my entertainment units. So if I move around and you lose me, I'm trying to be here, but I just can't stand here for the whole meeting.
Yeah.
You bring two chairs over there, Anne Marie, so.
Yeah, but then the computer needs to be high.
Oh, I see, I see.
I'm in a quandary.
Got it.
All right, that's all we have on the line for attendees.
Okay. So we can close public comment. Do we need to make I'm sorry, Jim, do we have to make a motion to close public comment, or we just move?
I guess make a motion just to cover our bases, just because I think we made a motion to open it. So,
Yep.
so
And motion to close public comment?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
I think we have to do this. Okay, and we're going to move on. The next part of our agenda, I'm excited to have Officer Dawn Flanders with our presentation for trail safety tips. Dawn, thanks for being here.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I have a presentation. I would like to share my screen. Can you give me that availability?
Absolutely. Hang on one second here. Okay. Okay, it should be coming over.
Okay, do you see my screen?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so thank you for having me. So my name is Officer Dawn Flanders, and I am a police officer here in Franklin Township, and I'm currently assigned to the Community Relations Bureau. So this is just a quick, a little bit about me. So like I said, I have 24 years experience in the police department. I'm currently assigned to the Community Relations Bureau. And for the past 15 years, I've been teaching prevention to all facets of Franklin Township, whether it be in the school district, the seniors, community groups like this. So this is what I do on a daily basis. So again, thank you for having me. So we're going to talk about trail safety, and then on October 1st, we're going to have actually a walkthrough at Middle Bush Park. So this is just kind of like a formal, how to be safe in a park, and this is open discussion, so if you have any questions, just ask me. And we all come from different backgrounds, and we all come from different, experiences when going on trails, whether it be biking or hiking or just walking. So this is going to be a general overview of how we could best be safe when we do go on trails. So the number one thing that I always like to tell everybody is to go with a buddy. So I also do a lot of presentations to colleges and to high school seniors about going off to college. And one of the biggest things is having a buddy with you. So when you're going on a trail or you're going somewhere, always try to go on a walk or ride with someone. I know that's not always possible, but that's always the best way if you go with somebody or go in a group. Before you go on the walk, you want to hydrate and you want to drink plenty of water, because especially on days like today when it's really hot out, if you do decide to go on a trail, even though the trail is covered, there's still a lot of humidity out there and you could be sweating. So it's important to hydrate before you go and also when you're on the trail. A lot of people don't think about this, but if you are going to go on a trail or go for a walk, don't get intoxicated or high when going out on a trail. Especially with the legalization of marijuana, and adults over the age of 21 sometimes, drink. You can't do it in the parks, but you don't want to go to the parks intoxicated or high. It alters your decision-making skills, and it could make you trust someone that you normally wouldn't. Know your route. Let someone know where you are going, a family member, a friend, or somebody. That's really important because, things do happen out on trails where people can have a medical emergency or they can get lost. And if you know where you're going, then somebody's going to know that you're out there. And if you know how long you're going to be out there, that's really important too, because you can call up your friend and say, "Hey, Tara, I'm going to be out at Middle Bush Park. I'm going to go around 1 o'clock. I'm probably going to stay till 2. And then, Tara can know that if she doesn't hear from me at 2 o'clock, that she might want to reach out to me and or go to the park and check on me because I'm not getting in touch with her. There could be a problem. Another thing about knowing your route is carrying a map. So many parks and state parks, depending on where you're going, there'll be a map route when you get there. And sometimes they're out of the paper route, but they'll have the map posted. So if you do have your cell phone with you, you could always take a picture of that map. That's another good thing. Or a lot of parks offer a download before you go to the park. So that's a super important thing. And also there are satellite beacons that you can buy. I know I don't want to call it any one name brand, but I know that the Garmin does have one where it's not a cell phone, but it's kind of like an EPIRB when you're boating, where it tracks your location by satellite and you don't need a cell signal. So that's another way where people can follow you and that they can know your route. There's also apps that you can download or through your phone service that people can track you on your GPS. But again, that's only good if your cell phone is charged and it's working. So we're going to get more into that on the next couple slides. But another big thing is checking your weather. So it's important that in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever you're going to go on your hike, your walk, that you do check your weather again, because the weather is always changing. and you could get yourself into a situation where you're out on the trail and all of a sudden you have really bad weather. So there are weather apps out there. The weather app that I use is WeatherBug, and it
Mhm.
does notify me if there's a storm coming in the next 15 minutes or 10 minutes. It will send me a notification. You could turn those on. So if you are somewhere, um, whether you're in the trail or on the beach or wherever, and it will notify you that a storm's coming so you can get yourself to a safe area in time for the storm to come.
Mm.
Like I said, carry a cell phone if you have one. Not everybody has one, but if you have one, carry it. Make sure that it's charged. They do offer secondary batteries now. Let's see if I have mine. Might have mine close by because I do carry. So this is a secondary battery
Mm-hmm.
for a cell phone, and you can carry it with you. It will help charge whatever if you need your phone for however long, and it could help you get off the trail, because a lot of cell phones have batteries that may not last all day if you end up spending out all day out on the trail. Or the other thing is your cell phones now have flashlights, which is really nice too, because that
Mhm.
flashlight might come in handy. If you don't have a cell phone, again, go with a buddy that has one. And you have GPS on your cell phone, so you can turn it on. Like I said, and there's apps out there, or you might have that service with your cell phone provider, where somebody in your family that's on your family plan can see your GPS location. So all of these things are available out there with your different cell phone providers. This is a really big one because people are so excited to post on social media. It's the same thing when you want to talk about house burglaries, like when people are on vacation or anything like that. You don't want to post anything on social media. So if you want to post on social media, make sure you wait until you're finished with your trip. Don't send it out to the world on where you're at. Like you don't want to post your trail map or anything like that. There's a lot of people out there that aren't private, and then you're posting it out there, and then you don't know who's looking at your information, and then somebody could see where you're at, and that could also be dangerous. Or again, it leaves your home open to burglaries. So we definitely don't want to do that, and it's
Mhm.
just something to keep in mind. Know your surroundings. So we already talked about carrying a map with you or downloading a map or just knowing where you're going in the park and letting somebody know about it. But plan your route in advance and no alternate routes. It's just like when you're driving. Sometimes a trail may be closed because there's a tree down. You may come up to something and you may say, "Oh wow, like I didn't realize this part of the trail was closed." And you may have to know your way around a different way. So it's always good to like take a look at the trail and know another way to get around if you need to get around. Another big thing is to beware of your surroundings at all times. A lot of people don't, when you're walking in trails, like sometimes there's hills up on the side of you. Take a look up, see what's on top of the hill. Once in a while, take a look behind you. Keep
Mhm.
your ears open. If you hear someone coming, keep it moving. This is another really big one that, people love to wear headphones, and I get it. I like to wear headphones myself, but there's a safe way to do it. If you do wear headphones, wear one at a time and keep it at a low volume. So that way you do have one ear open and then you're able to hear some sounds in the other ear, although you have, music or whatever it is that you listen to when you're on your walks or your bike rides.
Mhm.
And being able to hear things around you will help you notice something you don't see.
Mhm.
So when you're in situations, it's not always the hearing, but you see it, you smell it, it's coming, you get a vibe. It's just really good to keep your ears open because that's part of the ways that you can tell if something's going on. Don't offer information that you are alone.
Mm.
So I have an example that has nothing to do with a trail, but it's a really good example. So I like to travel by myself. So I was out in Pittsburgh and I went to the Pittsburgh Pirates game. I like to travel stadiums. So I got a seats in a really good spot and I was sitting in the front and I was all by myself. And there was these three men sitting next to me. And of course, we'll talk about holding ourselves confident. But one of the men sitting directly next to me started to converse with me. And one of the things he asked me was, is like, hey, are you here by yourself?
Mm.
And of course I was like, oh no, I'm definitely not here by myself. Have a story. I wasn't here by myself. Oh, like I'm a really diehard Pittsburgh Pirates fan, which I'm really not, but that's what I told him. And I was like, my family's sitting someplace else where they could see me, but I'm sitting here because I really like baseball more than they do. So I decided to get a ticket up front.
Mm.
So I had that story in the back of my mind just in case somebody was going to try to talk to me. So, and then what I did is because the game was going in a certain way where somebody was winning, I forget exactly what the score was, but I waited until the three men had got up and they walked away for whatever they were doing. And at that point, I was comfortable to leave and not have anybody worry about like watching me where I was going. So it's the same thing like this. If somebody stops you to try and talk to you because you are by yourself, one of the best things you can do is maintain a safe distance. So if there is a situation where you feel uneasy, and we're going to talk about that, it gives you an opportunity to, have a head start or just be in a better position, a better advancement position, like a more confident position. If somebody tries to have that conversation with you, do not offer information that you're hiking alone or walking, whatever it is. Tell them you're with a group or with somebody else. It's okay to do that. Don't and be confident about it. Let them know, like, oh yeah, I'm with somebody else. They're just up the trail, or what, you can't see them right now. They step behind the bushes, whatever.
Mhm.
If somebody is persistent, you know, you can let them know that, your friends are tracked and that they're up ahead. Just come up with a reason, that your friends are not there, and think it, be quick on your feet, and, just try not to offer any information to somebody that you are alone. So, does anybody have any questions about anything so far up to this slide?
Mm, I don't think so. I'm enjoying this though. This is a lot of stuff I didn't think of before.
Well, that's again, we all come from different backgrounds and different experiences. So, some of you may know this and this might be a good refresher, and then some of you may not, and it's a good refresher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so self-protection is a big one. A lot of people ask me this question. So everyone says to me, like, oh, well, I want to carry something because, if I get into a situation, I want to be able to defend myself. So the big thing that I like to tell people is, if you are going to carry something, make sure you know the laws on what you're carrying, and make sure that you're trained on what you're carrying. Kind of like law enforcement. Yeah, it's okay that you train something in like a non-threatening or non-defensive situation, but if you're going to carry something, maybe try to, be in a situation where you're put under some type of stress, so you can really practice whatever it is that you're carrying with you, and that way you have a better idea of like in a real situation. So, it's, if you're going to carry something, obviously keeping it in your hand is always the best place, because if you're keeping it on the bottom of your backpack, or if you're keeping it somewhere where you have to reach and grab it, you may not get to it, because if somebody's going to walk up to you and grab you, you're not going to have time to grab it. So, something that is not against the law and that's really simple is an emergency whistle. So I kind of wrote that in the sentence about not putting it on the bottom of your bag either. So, have it accessible, have it in your hand when you're walking, have it somewhere where, or put it, you might be able to even put it in a lanyard around your neck or whatever you feel more comfortable. They have the breakaway lanyards. I actually have one on my desk right here. They have lanyards that just, it's under, these are the ones that we give to the kids in school. So if somebody happens to yank on it by mistake, it comes off. So an emergency whistle is a great thing. Some people carry tracking poles. So again, tracking poles are great, and you can use them, to get around the woods and, use them for balance and whatever. Or again, with animals, if animals approach you in the trail, but they can be taken away from you if somebody knows what they're doing. So practice your self-defense techniques, so that's important too. Walk with confidence. So again, that's a really big thing. So don't walk like a victim, walk with confidence. And that means, you're walking with your shoulders back, you're walking with a good stride. people who are predators, they prey on people that they feel may be easy targets or maybe easy victims. So it's definitely important that when you are walking, you're definitely walking with a purpose. So I like to say walking with a confidence, walking with a purpose, and, just keep it moving. And again, it helps when you're looking around and you're aware of your surroundings and that you have an idea that, you're in a posture and a position where if somebody did approach you, then you could be able to hopefully defend yourself. Animal hazards. There's a lot of different animals that we can run into on the trails. A loose dog is one that comes to mind. Somebody maybe don't have their dog on a leash and they're walking them through the park, which we know is illegal, but it does happen. Or you might see something like the other day we saw a fox. So you could see like a fox, or you could see, I don't know, we have bears that have been running around lately.
Yeah.
So especially if you're, walking in the south end of town, it's not unfamiliar to see a bear. We've seen them all over town lately, but remain calm and avoid running away from the animal at first. Unexpected movements can frighten animals and make them feel threatened, increasing the likelihood of an attack. Again, maintain your distance. This is what we've been talking about a few times. Most wild animals will not attack unless provoked or threatened in some way. Avoid approaching or petting the animal and give it plenty of space to avoid an attack or aggressive behavior. And this is a really big one. And I was actually watching a video recently about an animal that they felt like was being fed by somebody else. And you shouldn't feed the wild animals. And when you're in the trail, you want to make sure you dispose of all your waste properly. So improper food storage and disposal will attract wild animals to your campsite or resting place. So if you are just sitting around hanging out, whatever, and you just decide to hang out, the wild animals will smell that because they have a good sense of smell. And then they might end up showing up where you're sitting. And they really think, feeding the wild animals can change their natural behavior, causing them to lose the fear of humans or become aggressive. So they have seen that before. And in my research with putting this presentation together, just animals are getting used to like walking up to people because they're feeding them. And then that could be a problem too, because if you don't give them food, that they might become aggressive too. Get to know the animals that live in the area, as well as the local rules and restrictions. Each region has its own set of animals to encounter and needs for coping with them. So, definitely some of the things that we spoke about, we might see bears, we might see deer. There used to be some wild cows down in the south end of town on some of the trails. You never know what you're going to see, but keep out for animal tracks, droppings, and claw or antler markings on the trees that can indicate the presence of an animal. So that's always a good thing too. If you do encounter an animal, if you make noise, surprising an animal increases the likelihood that it will feel threatened. If you're hiking in an area where there are bears or other potentially dangerous animals, you might want to make some noise to alert them of your presence, because bears are a little different. Avoid hiking at night as well as dawn and dusk, which I'm going to talk about. The parks are closed between dusk and dawn anyway, so we shouldn't be in the parks. But again, you might end up in a situation where if you're out there, and I'm going to talk about this later, you may want to call the police department and let us know that you're out there and you're making your way back, just so we know that you're out there, and hopefully that you don't run into any problems. So a lot of times that's when a lot of these animals are active, and including the bears. So obviously hiking during the day when the animals are less active will decrease your chances of an unsurprising or an unwanted encounter. So a lot of people don't think about carrying a first aid kit. I have them in my car. Actually, I was pulling up to a park once, Alair State Park. I was going on a bike ride. And as I was pulling into the parking lot, I saw a gentleman just fall right in front of me and hit his head right on the ground. So I was really concerned because, there was a couple other people that saw it. And luckily for me, like I keep a really good first aid kit in my car. So we were able to get everything done really great. Like, the blanket I had in the back of my car and everything except like to keep this guy's neck from moving. But we were able to get the right help along. made have contacted his wife again, who wasn't there. But he was wearing a bracelet that had some information on it. So that's another good thing. You can get like an identification bracelet. If you're out there like biking or hiking by yourself, there's a lot of companies that sell them that have emergency contact information on them. And so that's another like really good thing that you can get. But when you carry a first aid kit, you have to know how to use it. That's really important too. Again, you may not carry the thermal blanket bag and emergency shelter in your backpack, but if you are hiking for an extended period of time or you're out on a trail for a while, you might want to consider it, or at least keep it in your car. So you're asking what goes in a first aid kit. So some of the things that are recommended in the first aid kit is antiseptic wipes, antibacterial ointment, assorted bandages, gauze pads in various sizes, medical tape, moleskin or another type of blister treatment, because sometimes people wear the wrong types of shoes or they get wet and then they end up with blisters. Again, ibuprofen or another preferred pain relief medication. You might want to talk to your doctor about that. Insect sting treatment, antihistamine for allergic reactions, nonstick pads, butterfly bandages, tweezers, because ticks are really big in the area. So you might need to get a tick off of you. So you might need tweezers, safety pins. A multi-tool is a really good thing to carry for everybody. And then sometimes, again, if you're not really good at first aid, you might want to carry first aid cards that include instructions on how to use the items if you're not familiar. If you call 911, if you have an emergency, the dispatchers are really, really good and they are trained in first aid, and they will be able to help you through the emergency for whatever it is until somebody can get out there to help you. Just so everybody knows, we do have vehicles. We do have police vehicles in Franklin that can assist people in trails. We do have a four-wheeled off-road vehicle that we can take out in the trails. And I am a member of the bike unit. We do have police bicycles that do go out on the trails. So we do have ways and means to get out to you in the trails. And, you know, clearly we can call for mutual aid from, you know, the sheriff's department if we need canine dogs or if we need a helicopter. You know, those things are available to us as well. But just know that, you know, a first aid kit is always something that's good to carry with you, you know, if you decide to carry like a little backpack. So I can't help but talk about what happens in the parking lot. So you definitely want to vary your routine when visiting parks and using trails. You don't want to always, just in general, even if you're driving back and forth to work or, you know, you always frequent a store, you want to vary your routine. It's all the same. Like I said before, if you can take somebody with you, that's always the best way. You definitely want to park in a well-lit area and near other people if possible. That will minimize your chance of becoming a victim. You want to lock your vehicle and hide valuable items. It is a big target for people's cars to get broken into when they're in the parking lots of parks. If somebody's walking by and they see a laptop bag or a backpack on your back seat or on your front seat or a box, they may feel like they want to go in and, you know, break your window. Definitely lock your cars, because most of the time when we have a car that's entered, it's unlocked. So it's important that you lock your car. You know, you want to just make sure that you have all of these things covered. You know, try to put it in your trunk or whatever before you get to the park. Because again, somebody might see you get to the park and be like, oh yeah, I have this pocketbook. I'm going to throw it in the back of my trunk. And now they're watching you take these items and putting them into your trunk. So, you know, a lot of our trunk releases are right in our cars, where if we open up the door, we can just open up the trunk and get into the trunk. So we definitely want to make sure that if we do have items out there, we want to try to like put them, either take them out of your cars or get them out of view before you go there. So again, parks are typically closed from dusk to dawn, so be mindful of your time. Learn self-defense. Here at Franklin Township Police Department, we offer a free women's self-defense class. So it's called the RAD system. It's a basic self-defense program for women only. It's nationally recognized. If you have a daughter going to college, or if you're looking for a basic self-defense program to attend, the minimum age is 16 years old. And the classes are held at the Community Relations Bureau at 935 Hamilton Street. And I did put our website in the chat for the Community Relations Bureau. And this is what the flyer looks like.
Hmm.
So the classes change all the time. So you see that this was the last flyer that we released. So if you look at our website and check back, and also on our Facebook or on our Instagram, you don't have to be on Facebook to check our Facebook, because I don't have Facebook and I'm able to check the Facebook, so anybody can go on there. And we also have biking with cops too. I'm just gonna throw that out there. We do biking in the different parks in town. So that's something that anybody in the community can join up, as long as you're high school or older and you bring your own bike. And it's a great way to come out with the police department. Like I said, I'm on the biking unit, and you can get to know us and you can ask us any questions that you want. And we do cater to all, biking styles. So if you're not the best at it, somebody will ride with you and we all stay together. And we
Hmm.
make sure that everybody enjoys the ride and that everybody stays together. So it's another really great way to come out, get to know some of the trails, and meet some people in the community and meet the police department.
Hmm.
So if the worst happens, so again, if somebody walks up to you on the trail and they want your money, give it to them. It's much better to argue, than argue or get them into a tussle. So if somebody's walking up to you, like we said, you want to try to keep your distance, you want to walk with a purpose. But if for some reason they kind of cut you off in the trail or they catch you off guard, they tell you to give you their money, then just give it to them. If you don't have any money, then you could just be honest and say, look, I don't have any money. If somebody grabs you, never allow them to force you into a vehicle. Do the best that you can to cause a scene, wave your arms, yell. It attracts people. Again, try to fight back the best you can and escape and yell. Just don't give up. That's the best way. So I know this slide has a lot of stuff on it, but before you go, and just in general, just think about what you may need in case you get lost, injured, and can't move. So again, it depends on the duration of your hike and everything like that, where you're going, but it's just something good to put out there. To carry a backpack or a hydration pack. You might want to put a waterproof jacket in there. Wear a pair of good hiking boots or sneakers. Everyone's got their own preference. Some people like hiking boots, some people like sneakers. So gaiters are another good thing if you want to go out there and you want to reduce yourself from getting scratches or cuts or anything like that entering your shoes or in the bottom half of your pants. So they're called gaiters. They can stop, the ticks from coming in too, which is really great. We talked about a first aid kit. Sometimes people don't think about sun protection. Sun protection is super important because not all of the trails have sun protection. And sometimes the sun can come in through the trees. So that may be something that you want to carry. Food and snacks. Everyone thinks, okay, water, but you know what? You might get hungry out there. Maybe grab like a granola bar or something that's small that you could put into your backpack or pocket in case you do get hungry out there. And then consider what you're packing. Because if it's going to be a hot day, you might want to steer clear of foodstuffs. Instead, look for high energy foods such as nuts, seeds, and trail mix to keep your energy up. And again, we did talk about maps. So these are just some, think about what you may need in case you get lost. And a map is definitely a good thing. This is another big one that we spoke about a little bit too. If you see something, say something. Your gut feeling is real. Listen to your intuition, say no, and back out of it. So if somebody does, again, try to come up to you in the trail, you could say no to them, you could back out of it. If something's just weird, call 911 and let us know if you see anything. We will send someone out to investigate it. And if it's something that's not really an emergency, and if you just say, oh, this was a little off, I saw something on the trail, or, there was this car parked in the lot and this is their license plate number, maybe you could check it out. Our non-emergency number is 732-873-2300. And we'll send somebody out to take a report. Let us do our jobs. That's what we're here for. We do another thing that we do during our shifts. It's something that we mandatorily have to do. for all of the guys and girls that are on patrol, they do have to do park checks. So we try to drive through the parks as much as possible during our shifts. As long as time allows for it, if we're not tied up on calls. So this is just something, you may see an officer drive through the park, you can stop him or her and let them know like what's going on. And so, this is my information where you can contact me. I do want to click on this because they did catch the suspect that was involved in the last incident that we had in the trail. So I am going to pull this up. Can you still see my screen or do I need to reshare?
I just see the questions page still. Yeah, you might need to close that and reshare.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. Okay. Share. Okay, does everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is one of the links that I sent you for the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office. So this was just the press release from today that the suspect was caught for the
Oh, that's good news.
So I am going to, so this was the incident on Monday, May 16th about the 911 call for the sexual assault for the trail by Blackwell's Mills and Canal Road. And then, so they went on to explain everything. So this is the press release. That was the man that was arrested. That was the sketches that were done. So this is really good news. And because I'm not on Facebook, I don't think it's going to let me do that. But at least we have a general idea of what
That's
happened.
great.
So yeah, this is good stuff.
Very good.
So I just want to make a note in here that so our director that is in charge of Franklin Township, Director Mayweather, and all of the people involved in this investigation, just want to make it clear again that if you see something, say something, because this guy was caught because somebody else had called out another incident on August 4th. And if that person didn't call the police and report it, then we may not be in this position right now of catching this man. So it's really good. Again, that's why I said to see something, say something. So again, everyone who was involved in this investigation, just want to thank everybody for doing that. And that was a big part of solving this investigation. Here's the part right here. So my director, Cobell Mayweather, we all want to say thank you for getting out there and being vigilant. And, you can report things via the Stop It app. There is an app out there as well where you can do anonymous tips. So.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
All right.
that's great news, Dawn. I've been following that case for a long time and it's so glad to hear they finally got him.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and we definitely saw, increased presence on the trails, sometimes, uniformed, and I'm sure sometimes not. It was appreciated. And it was great news today to hear this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And like I said, we did our best. We were getting out there on the bikes as much as we could. So.
And I'm also really grateful for the women who reported what had happened to them as well.
Sure.
And then gave so much information to you guys, just like the person you said on August 4th did. I know sometimes it's hard to come forward with that information, so I'm really grateful that they did.
So does anybody have any questions for me while I'm still here?
I have a question. So I guess one of the questions I have is, say you're on a trail and you're lost, like you're just completely lost, you've turned around, whatever the issue is. And I'm glad to hear that you guys have vehicles that you can get out there on the trail. But for, say you're just out there and you're like nervous, oh, I'm lost. What should you be looking for? Like, I know, like, say you're in a city, you maybe be looking for a landmark or something like that. Do you have any recommendations of, like, what exactly should you be saying when you call the police if you need to? Like, because it's hard, you can't just be like, I'm by a tree. Um, but I'm assuming you guys will stay on the phone and kind of help someone out of that situation too. So I guess
Absolutely.
yeah.
The best thing I could tell you is that there are a lot of trails that do have markers and indicators on them.
Mm-hmm.
So just try to like look out for them. But when you call 911, we actually get a GPS location on your phone.
Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
it will give us an exact location of where you're at. So they'll be able to see you on the map of where you are, and they should hopefully be able to walk you out as well, or
Okay.
do the best that they can.
Yeah, that's good to know. And then the other question I had is if you're out on a trail and you said before, which I think is a good I wrote it down, you said it follow your gut. Like if something seems wrong, it probably is wrong. I think a lot of times though people get nervous like, "Oh, I don't want to call if I'm not sure." And um so I guess my question is if you're out, say you're out on the trail and you're running and you just get like so you think someone's following you or not, you're not sure, what's like the best like advice you can give? Do you try and like take a different way and see if they follow you and then call, or like what's the, because we don't want to call on people that just happen to be walking behind you. But I feel that way at least sometimes. Like I don't ever want to make the wrong decision.
Well, it's always better to call. I think it's better to call because, especially if you're in the middle of a park,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's better for us to like show up there and then have nothing be wrong rather
Right.
than, have something be wrong and then now we're like backpedaling trying to fix it. But yeah, that's a really great question. I think everyone is going to have their own answer to that. I think that you have to do what works best for you, but again, you have to trust your gut. And I would rather have somebody call when there's a problem or they think there might be a problem and then be like, oh yeah, there wasn't a problem. But if you can get yourself to a situation where like maybe there's a group of people walking,
Mm,
maybe it's like a family or like,
right.
maybe try to like make your way into that group or something. Like I've done stuff
Yeah.
like that before too.
That is a good idea. Like just like act like you're with those people, basically. That's a
Right.
good idea. Yeah.
Or
And I
maybe if
think-
it's like, again, I'm not telling you to like walk up to strangers, but I mean, you know
Right.
what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a difference of like finding like a group of people that, again, like I said, like maybe there's a family out there or just a
Right.
group of people that are biking. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's kind of hard to say, but at the same time, you just gotta do the best you can to like protect yourself in that situation with what you have around you at that time.
Got
I
it.
I think like Tara, what you're asking, like I think we also, right, you don't want to, your unconscious bias might make you feel
Right.
threatened by somebody for no good reason, right?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So I would personally want to be mindful of that. And I think the suggestion of hiking with somebody else is always, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're, if that situation, because I would hate to, I understand that we have to go with our gut, but I also know a lot of people get called unreported because of unconscious bias reasons. And I
Right.
just wouldn't want to be part of that.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's a personal thing, and like you're gonna know like when if you feel like you're in danger, you got to do what you got to do,
Right.
regardless. I mean, well,
Yeah.
that'll all get worked out later.
Yeah. I hear ya. How often, and you don't have to give me an exact number, but just out of curiosity, do you guys get like frequent calls from people on the trails, or is it kind of rare to get that call?
I don't really know because I'm not involved in that. I'm in community relations, so I'm not on patrol anymore. So I don't have the answer to that question.
Okay, that's okay. I was just wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Dawn, I have a quick question. Just getting back to the beginning of your presentation, you
Mhm.
mentioned what to use, what a possible device you could use, so you don't have to depend on cell phone service. What you mentioned a Garmin project. What was that again? I didn't get that whole
It's
thing.
a satellite. It's a satellite tracking device. Let
Oh,
me see if I can
satellite.
pull it
Okay, I
up.
was wondering. Okay,
Let me see.
because there are times you don't have service, and so that's good to know.
That's just like the
Yeah.
regular old GPS, right? Just GPS alone that they used to have pre-cell phones having GPS. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, it's similar. They have them out there. You just gotta search them because they have different prices and different, you know. Let me see.
Actually, most cell phones today, I believe, have a separate GPS device. It's not dependent, the GPS signal is not dependent on the cell phone towers. And we actually use apps, these apps to map our trails.
Yeah, that's
In
true.
fact. I found most of the time we get a pretty good signal on most of our trails.
Mhm.
And you can actually track yourself through what is it, the Google Maps or Street Maps
Oh, right, right.
apps on your
Yeah.
phone. And we actually we do a lot of kayaking in the area, and actually we can actually when we're trying to find where we are on a map, you can actually dictate the GPS coordinates that are on the map into your phone and get a pin for your exact location
Mm,
on that. So,
that's a good idea.
but
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because actually, Chuck, I was thinking about Diana just a second ago because I wanted to ask Dawn that question. So Diana, Chuck's wife, he and Diana do a lot of hiking and walking. She had showed us at one of these meetings. It's like what is it, Chuck? It's like a thing you can throw it. It makes a noise.
it's one that the thing that most common thing now is called a hootie. And
Yeah.
actually, you can attach it to your belt, and basically, you pull apart, and you can throw away the noise-sounding thing. Makes supposed to be 135 decibels. We've measured it's not, but it's loud, and we've been trying to distribute. Yeah, Vanessa's got one. We've been trying to
Oh, there we
distribute
go.
these,
Yeah.
and,
So yeah,
pull
Chuck
apart,
and Diana
Vanessa,
gave
show
this
what
to
it'll
me
do.
and Anne Marie.
I like that. So one of the things, and I mean, I've always thought this is a great idea, and I wanted to see Dawn, like, what do you think about something like that? I would think that probably is a good deterrent, right?
Sure. I mean, anything, I think that's great, actually. Anything, everyone's gonna want to maybe use something different or carry a whistle or maybe throw something, or have both, because you don't know like what type of situation you're going to be in. Maybe throwing something is easier than trying to blow in a whistle. So, I mean, there's different situations or, people might be more comfortable, using different things because everyone reacts differently in a stressful situation. So, unless you put yourself in that stressful situation, you don't really know how you're going to act.
Yeah. True. Very true.
Dawn, is using mace or pepper spray or bear spray legal?
That's a good question. So it's kind of a tough thing because what happens is like when you use mace, it goes in the air. So you could easily contaminate yourself.
Right.
So, you just have to be mindful that those types of things, because we have a lot of training with that. So you just, again, you have to practice with that if you're going to carry that. And it could be used in a situation where, you can end up contaminating yourself. Or if the person's strong enough to like grab your hand, they can like turn it and spray it on you.
Mm.
So you have to be mindful and of what the things that you're going to carry and how it could be used against you if that person, tends to overpower you or be faster than you.
That's
But just
smart.
something to keep in mind. That's why I said that in that slide.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's really, I agree with you 100%, Dawn. You really have to try to use it before you get into a stressful situation because you're absolutely right. Under stress, people do things, they freeze,
Right.
anything could happen.
I know I was out on the trail by myself a few weeks ago, and I had my hoodie on my pack, and I was trimming. So I was like, I often will trim as so I have my shears in my hand. So I'm like, you're good, like you're good. So I'm walking along, and then all of a sudden, like this bicycle comes up from behind me and startles me, and I just jump into the woods, like, like I didn't, I'm like, oh, you are
Right.
not. That's not
Right.
gonna work for you.
It was a reaction though. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Does anyone, so if any of the other members have questions, we can definitely take those. If not, I figured, Vanessa, maybe I could just check in with the attendees and see if they have any questions while Officer Flanders is here.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Does anyone else on the committee have any questions before I switch to see if anyone else has any? All right, let me unmute here. I'm going to just unmute both at the same time. So we have Teresa and Bill on attendees. Do you guys have any questions for Officer Flanders or anything you want to ask her before she goes?
No, I don't, thanks.
No, I don't either.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I guess before we go, the one thing I would like to talk about is the upcoming walk-on that we're gonna do. So right now, so it's scheduled for October 1st, which is a Saturday. What time? I think we said 9:30, right? I checked my calendar.
Whatever time you want me to be there, I'll be there.
Let me see. October 1st, 9 a.m. I have down. So so what we're gonna do, you know, everyone promote it. We're gonna put out a flyer about it separately. But we're going to walk the trail at Middle Bush Park with Dawn, and she is going to, hopefully with a larger group of people that are there, which I think it'll be great weather for. You can really kind of point out some of the hazards you're talking about and give us some ideas. And I think people feel really comfortable, you know, in that kind of situation. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll work out more logistics. And I know Recreation wants to team up with us too. So maybe we can figure out some kind of giveaway or something like that.
Great. Sounds like a plan.
This was great, Dawn. That was so informative. It's like when you hear the topic like trail safety, you think, oh yeah, it's common sense, but you told me so many things that I didn't like even think about because I don't have to think about them, luckily, knock on wood, but it's nice to know.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you for having me. It was a nice project to research as well. So I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, and then we'll talk more before the 1st.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dawn.
Dawn.
Thank you.
Hi, Dawn. Thank you.
See you later.
Yes, thank you so much. This was excellent. All right.
I just couldn't have been better timing for the
Ah.
for them for catching
Right?
the person. So that's great.
I agree. That was great. Yeah, that was excellent. So
About
less
5 or 6
anxiety.
years ago, we were hiking in Alaska in an area where they knew there were grizzly bears there.
Mm.
And we bought a bear whistle. And then I got talked into buying the bear spray at it was a gun shop or something where I bought it. And the two guys that were in there who probably observed this all the time were laughing, saying, by the time you figure out how to use that, the bear's going to be all over you.
Oh no.
Yeah. And he said, we find a lot of dead bears with whistles in their belly.
Oh wow. That's crazy. Huh.
Yeah, I was, because the spray goes about 20 feet, but a bear charging you can make 20 feet at a couple of seconds. So
Right.
it was kind of a crazy thing that we did.
It is really interesting when you think about it though, because I never, like I said, I mean, and I've been lucky, like I kind of like haven't had to worry so much, but I do a lot of field work. And this is when I was still at the county, I had to do a lot of field work on farms. And of all the times I went out on farms, never had a problem. Then one time I just got out of the car and there was a loose dog, but usually the farm dogs are really nice. But this dog was not nice. And as soon as it hit me that like, oh my gosh, this dog is mean, I looked around and I'm like, wow, I'm in the middle of the farm field. I'm alone. Like you don't think of like what you were saying, Vanessa, like you're kind of like, oh my gosh, and so I think a presentation like this is so important because it's like you don't really think of these things until you're in a situation and then, you know, now luckily I will say this, though I did have so I had like gone out on my side of the car, but there was another girl I was with and she was like a little bit away from the car, but she had brought dog bones with her. And I always made fun of her for bringing dog bones because I thought that was kind of crazy, but she threw the bone and the dog went for it. So, I mean, probably
Yeah.
not the best idea, but at least it was something, you know,
Yeah, it worked, right?
for that, it was enough time to get back in the car, you know, but I think this was really good. I think the walk will be really really fun too. So we'll make sure we promote it. Maybe we can even try to get it to that self-defense class if it happens before October 1st. So we'll work on that.
Oh, nice. Okay. Tara, are we ready to move on to the next thing?
Yeah, yep.
I'm wondering, so looking at the time, it's 8 o'clock. Um, do we want to flip the agenda and do the site plan, new business, old business? And then if we have time, do the pathways and trails? I'm just
Yes.
thinking we're not gonna have time to do both.
Yeah, I figured probably tonight. I was like, before I sent you the agenda, I'm like, should I just ask if we should take it off? Because I figured it would be a while. So I assumed we would probably end up tabling it for tonight anyway. I don't really have
Okay,
anything new to report in all honesty. So.
okay.
Sounds good to me as well. Sounds really good to me.
You're like, I like it. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking when I was looking at the draft. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the site plan review.
Okay. So again, this week we don't really have anything for site plan review. The Environmental Commission did do its normal reviews, but again, the only thing that we reviewed the last time was um 2 warehouse projects. That really seems to be a lot of what we've been reviewing lately. Um, Let me look though, before I tell you there was none, I just want to check one thing. So one was just an update to a plan that's being built over by World's Fair Drive. And we had talked about that at one of the meetings and said, I don't think this is really gonna pertain to us, like in terms of trails. The other one that came before us, it's loading up right now. I just want to make sure this is right. Okay, so the Environmental Commission heard this at the last meeting, and it's a proposal for 2 smaller warehouses. Um, it's located though on Weston Canal Road, so that was the thing that was interesting. Are you all familiar with the it's called Atlock Nursery, I think is the name of it. It's across from the canal. Uh, it's on there used to be a sod farm. Are you guys familiar with that property on Weston Canal Road? So Weston Canal Road is narrow. It's obviously right by the canal. So there is a proposal, very early phase for 2 smaller warehouses that would have 52 parking spots, it looks like. There's currently a residential building, shed, and greenhouse on the property. Those will be knocked down. Um, the plan proposes to fill at the front and cut into the hill to provide ground level warehouse. Um, 2 bioretention basins are proposed at the front. The ground will slope steeply to Weston Canal Road. Also proposed is an underground infiltration basin under the front parking area. A green roof is proposed and some areas of a green wall. So in terms of the uh, stormwater management and green infrastructure and sustainability, it's a great plan because they are proposing a lot of things that a lot of developers don't propose, like the green roof and green wall and the bioretention basins. The problem really is the location, which for the planning board and zoning to decide because of the road. It's only a 2-lane road. There's going to be trucks coming in there. It goes directly to 287 in one direction, so it could cause some backup. But in terms of trails, what we're looking at I mean, of course, the DNR, the canal path is right across the way from it, but there's really no way there would be able to make a connection from that property anyway because it's, cut off by that guardrail. So you'd have to go down Weston Canal Road and follow it to the path, which is already kind of a precarious area for walking and biking. You would have to get on the path from, where if you're going towards Manville and you cross over the bridge, but there's that very steep turn, that tight turn around there. You'd have to go from this site and somehow make your way up to there to get into it because you couldn't really cross over.
So it's off of Weston Road, or you said Weston Canal?
Weston Canal, yeah. I can bring up let me bring up a map to show you. Let me just get it up here. But that was the only other one we reviewed. And again, it's, from the Environmental Commission, what they're reviewing for is making sure you know, that they're actually doing like stormwater and lighting and everything in a appropriate fashion. But I'm going to show you this map so I can show you exactly where it is. I just want to get it up here. Okay. Let me share my screen. Share. Okay. All right. So this is the site right here, just to give you some kind of, this right here is it. And so you can see the Amazon factory is over here. This is Randolph Road right over here. So if you're going this way, you're heading towards 287. And I'm just going to move it. Here's Zarapath, just for your reference.
Yeah.
And then this
So
is,
where is it? I don't see it.
it's
on
right here.
The blue?
Yep.
I think that's the last thing we need is another warehouse in, particularly near the canal.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they're trying to green it up with the roof and all
Right.
of that, but the town of Franklin has really turned into a massive set of warehouses there everywhere.
Yeah.
It's to put anything near that beautiful Western Canal itself and the road is crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the status is with the, I know it's going to go before the planning and zoning board. They're probably, I'm sure, having to submit some additional information, I'm sure, but the only, you know, the environmental commission does its review and that's what, you know, but I think that their sentiment was kind of concern as well, just because of the location.
Yeah. Where is the huge warehouses that are come on, Erling. That the
Oh, the by Canal Walk and stuff, you mean? Is that?
Now walk places, yeah.
yeah.
So that
Where's-
would, oop, that would be not, nope, they're further this way. Let me see.
Amazon building is
Schoolhouse.
gigantic.
Yeah, the Amazon. So there's Amazon. So Canal Walk is
Which one is Amazon?
That giant one.
this
That
one
big
here.
white one.
Yeah, that's
That's
nuts.
Amazon.
So this is going to be right near there.
Yes, it's Amazon is behind it. This is not the right place I wanted to show you, but this Schoolhouse Road, as you're heading down here, see, this is New Brunswick Road and Elizabeth Ave. Metlers, so I think we're still too far at this spot. Randolph. So here's Canal Walk. And I think, I don't know exactly where the spot is that they're proposing those warehouses, but I know it's right around Canal Walk, somewhere in this
Oh,
vicinity.
they're going to love that.
But that's like the location to there. So again, here's Schoolhouse, here's that turn I was telling you. Well, you guys all know
Mhm.
about this, not that I was telling you about it, but this is that turn where a lot of people, you know, get upset because they have to go around here and the cars are speeding by. And I think the crosswalk is like right around, well, actually, I don't even know if it's a crosswalk. And then we're
It's
back.
been rumored that they were going to turn that into a flashing light and
Mhm.
like you see in Colonial Park.
Yeah, I think the town has been working with the county on that, because it's a county road to get to, you know, kind of get that put in there. So I know that they've been, you know, having discussions at least about that. I don't know where it stands exactly, but I think, yeah, they've been talking about it. So that's it. So, but in terms of a trail, I don't know that there's really,
Yeah.
you know, there's not really much of a connection there. Because to cross from, I mean, to make a trail that crossed this road, you couldn't really
And
do
there's
it
no
from here.
sidewalks down there.
There's no
No.
sidewalks. There's a
No,
shoulder,
no.
but it's tight. A shoulder is tight, especially now if you're talking about a big truck coming.
But you said the environmental commission, they're gonna look at like as far as the flooding in that area and the roads to sustainability and
Yeah, so the
the
environmental
impact on the
commission.
pervious ground and things like
Well,
that.
yeah. So the planning board will look at the, you know, the actual traffic counts and like, can the road handle it, stormwater management. the things that the environmental commission is charged with looking at is, are they doing enough sustainable practices on site? Are there better ways to produce energy or contain stormwater? So that's what, their charge is to look at it. The planning and zoning board, though, will look at, stormwater volume, where is it going to, how's it being treated? They will definitely look at the level of service on the road and if there's any changes on there. So they will look at that. It hasn't been before them yet because I'm sure it's still in the staff review time, but I definitely would say, we'll keep an eye on it and see when it gets to the planning or zoning.
Okay. And Tara, like, there's no, like, on the back side of this blue line there, that's not, that's just a property line there. That's not like, a road.
No, that's just property line. Yep.
Okay. Okay, all right.
And so that's all we had at the last meeting. So it's been kind of not too many things, not too many reviews as of late.
Okay. Let me go back to the agenda. New business. A reestablishment of demolition plots at Negri and Pote.
So Chuck is really working on that, more than anybody. Chuck, you have anything to report?
Not really, although it's really hot to work out there right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the only thing was that I've been looking for methods that we might be able to use to restore the pollinator area. And of course, we've discussed this before about actually putting in trails, crushed shale trails around some demonstration plots and through that along the ridge to that trail. I also sort of came to the conclusion that we need to think about maybe using biological controls to control some of the invasives in that area. And so I actually went to the Environmental Commission to ask them to see if they would approve this. These are organisms that specifically affect spotted knapweed, which is one of the main invasives in that area. And the commission, which it's a very busy commission, they actually we had enough discussion that they felt like they should approve it using these. What we wanted to do was release a USDA approved insects that would specifically attack the knapweed. These are natural predators of the knapweed. But Ted Chase and I also felt like this is something that should be considered by the by the Open Space Committee as well. And then I guess Tara contacted Bob Vornlacher and Bob Puskas, and I guess the sense, Tara, was they thought it might be a good idea, but they didn't want to do it without further review and consultation.
Right. Yeah. So I did bring it to the Bob Puskas, who's the chair of Open Space, and I also brought it to Bob Warnlocker, our township manager. They both thought it's definitely, an idea worth looking into. Of course, the main thing is that I think in order to release the insects, like so that they actually can do their job, they would have to be done, right, Chuck, by like the end of September.
By mid-September.
By mid-September, yeah.
So we've lost the window on that, and it would be something that we would try to do next year. What I would like to do, though, because we're going to have to make these presentations to the Open Space Committee and as well, I would appreciate it if somewhere down the road in the next few months, the Trails Committee would consider this as well and either, move to approve or disapprove it, just to provide ammunition, I guess, for either approving or disapproving this project. It's up to you whether you would want to be involved in this. It really is affecting, the environment around our trails. And I feel like it's important from that point of view to have a trails committee think about it. But
Yeah.
anyway, I would just like to ask the committee to consider it. We can show a short video, a 6-minute video from Idaho State University about biological controls. And I can also give information about permitting or the lack of permitting that's been required for doing this. And so
Yeah. I think the idea is that we'll add it to the September and October trails and open space advisory committee agendas for like like a formal, not a formal, but a more in-depth presentation, Chuck, from you. We can show the video, we can talk about it, and then, see how it goes from there.
yeah, I just feel the problem is no permits are required for this. I mean, this is a USDA approved program that's in place in many of the western states. And my concern in bringing it to the Environmental Commission was that, it's already approved for use in the area as far as we know, but, nobody has ever done it before
Right.
in New Jersey. And I didn't feel comfortable just going ahead and doing it
Mm-hmm.
without having further consultation with members of the public, members of the relevant committees that might have overlapping concerns about this in the township. So
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think the main thing is that, I think everyone wants to make sure that, before we do something that we've never done before, or before we release anything onto the town property, we just want to make sure that, we have time to like research it and look at it and have everyone approve it. And then if everyone wants to do it, just like, we went into the prescribed burn, we can definitely do something like that, but we just got to make sure we have time to do it.
so anyway, that's my drift.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we can get that, Vanessa, is that okay on the September agenda?
Of course. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. The local health assessment and action plan.
So for anyone that has filled out the local health assessment, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It is live right now. I had sent the link around, so now it's in a digital version that you can fill in, so you don't need to worry about the paper copy. If you have a chance to fill it in, please do that, because the more, feedback we get from across the township, the better our assessment and our action plan is going to be. So far, I think we have collected almost 100 surveys so far, and the digital one only went live a few days ago, so we do have quite a few paper copies. But Safi and I are going to have a table at the Week of the People on Saturday for just a few hours. She did have a table at some of the Franklin days. There's a table at the senior center for their feedback. And we keep pushing it on Facebook, and I'm sending it to all of our committees and everything like that. So once we get all these surveys in, and the next step after that is to hold some focus groups. So we're kind of in the phase right now where we're trying to think, where are some good places to hold focus groups. We want to make sure we get, representation from every group, as many as we can possible across the township. So that's kind of what we're working on next. But yeah, so it's moving along. So far, so good.
Great. Thank you.
Tara, before we move on, is that something, what's the time frame? Would you be able to approach like parents groups at schools and stuff like that regarding the health assessment, or is it due before then?
No, so we have the technical assistance grant goes through March. So we have all that time to do it. Now we need to develop an action plan by March, but our goal is, we definitely are going to be doing some surveys, and we'll get the survey information out to the school so they can get it out. But a few of the focus groups, we're hoping, as long as we get permission, will be held at the school. So, we'll be able to get parents groups involved, and I know Safi was able to get some of when it was paper surveys, like handed out at the camps, the summer camps and things like that. So Yep, so we're keeping that in mind.
It's good.
Okay, maintenance call?
Maintenance call, yes. So I had a brief maintenance call with Carl this month. Um, I asked about the benches. He said a bunch of deliveries had come in that day and he had suspected that some were the benches. So he was gonna go, get the deliveries and let me know what he has, but I think that they're in. Um, what else? He wants to know, which I said we have to have a meeting of the grasslands committee, I guess, or someone, but something to think about. He does want to have a schedule for mowing because mowing's coming up soon. So, well, I guess we should talk about this here because it's coming up very soon. So they are willing to do the mowing. They have the new mower they need, the correct mower to do it. They got that equipment. So we didn't have a burn last year because of the weather. So my assumption is that we're probably gonna have them mow the entirety of both properties again. We did apply for the burn, upcoming, so hopefully we can have that, but I would assume that's what we're planning on doing. Does that sound wrong to anyone, or what do you think?
Did what part sound wrong?
About mowing the entirety of both properties. So last year we mowed the entirety of both properties because it was like going to be better for the burn and there was a lot of overgrowth, but then we didn't have the burn because of the weather. So now nothing has been done. So I think both properties in their entirety need to be mowed again. And then hopefully we'll be able to do the burn in, January or February.
I mean, I don't think there's any problems with that. I mean, I don't see any problems. I don't know
What
if
do you
guys
think, Chuck? Does that sound like the right course of action or should we be like delineating certain areas for them to mow?
Chuck, you're muted.
You're
Chuck, you're
muted,
muted.
Chuck.
I'm sorry, yeah, I think that's probably the best plan. My, only, I do want to think about one thing, and that is that the mowing that they did last year, they mowed down with these flail mowers, they mowed down a lot of the Bradford pear and autumn olive trees. And which really, we knew that this wasn't the best plan, because what happens with these plants is that you get sucker growth growing up. And actually the sucker growth of these things is coming up really fast. So instead of one trunk for the tree, now you've got 6 or 8 trunks, and you'd be amazed at how fast these things are growing. They're actually higher than the tall grass at this
Oh,
point,
wow.
even though they were mowed at ground level.
Mm.
Really the best procedure would have been to simply cut the trunk and immediately apply systemic herbicide to the cut trunk, like within 30 seconds. And that
Okay.
kills the root system and so on. But I think, I don't know, I get the sense now maybe the best thing to do is to just go ahead, do the mowing again, hope we get a burn, and hope that the burn actually will kill most of the sucker growth that's coming through. I don't see any other way around at this point.
Right. Now, if we do
Basically,
that mow and then we get a prescribed burn going, we might actually make, some good progress on the
but,
invasives
yeah,
and then,
it's going to be incremental. But
Yes.
I think that's
Okay.
probably the best thing to do from now.
Okay. And now last year we had him do the mowing right around September 1st. I think that was because it was out of the nesting bird season. I think that's probably still the more appropriate time, or no?
We might want to push it back a little bit, but the reason is that you wouldn't want to mow in the pollinator area, for example. You wouldn't want to mow before the pollinator plants have had a chance to set seed
Okay.
into the ground. But quite frankly, given this drought, we don't have much pollinator plant
Right.
flowering there. The only major flower we have is spotted knapweed,
Right.
And there's it's interesting biology, but
Do you think
so
October is better? Like early
uh,
October?
yeah, let me look and see if there's a possibility that some of these plants that had not been inflated flower because of the drought might actually flower late.
Okay.
But I think we can figure that out in the next couple of weeks, if that's enough time to think about the scheduling.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, moving on to old business, the GPS mapping of trails.
So I haven't received any update from AT. I know he's still working hard on getting the maps done. We still have some trails that need to be that need to be GPSed. So, it's been hard. It's been a hard month, obviously, with the incredible heat and the drought and everything. So again, if you get out to walk any of your trails, just please put that in the spreadsheet that we have, the Google sheet. Or you can just let me know and I can put it in there if that's easier for you. And AT continues to work on the map, so you know we're we're moving along a little slower this month, but we're getting there.
Okay. Trail walks. I know we have the October 1st one coming up. Before then,
Yep.
Chuck, are there any more than 55 hikes you have going?
I would like to schedule some for the fall.
Uh-huh.
I'm just having scheduling problems at the moment. I think we can work it out. I think we can do a few in the fall. I'd like to do them,
Yeah, yeah.
and so on. Also there are these thinking about doing walks for these people in that Highland, Princeton Highlands neighborhood,
Right.
to familiarize those people with the trails. We need to get in touch with what is it, Rohit Gupta.
Okay.
About that. I haven't heard from him since then, but and so on. Yeah, I don't think I can schedule anything till, you know, for mid-September or late September after our next trails meeting. So why don't we try to work out a schedule for then?
Okay.
If that's
Is there
part of it.
anybody else? Is there anybody else who was wanting to schedule a hike? Okay. So, yeah, Chuck, let's you and I connect before the next trails meeting and we can kind of look some dates.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Glad to.
Yeah, I definitely want to, I know we've been talking about kind of like just like the towpath, getting people out there who don't know what's near their houses. Like that's something I personally
Yeah.
would really like to make sure people can figure out. Like kind of thinking about Tara with the local health assessment, right?
Right.
Just like people not knowing what's in their neighborhood even to access.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think we can have that intention as well when we're picking our locations for our hikes.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, next item is stewardship at grasslands.
So I submitted the application for the prescribed burn, and we're just kind of waiting to get the approval on that. But in speaking with George Effinger, our fire steward, he seemed to think that it was no problem, and he had really hoped to get out here and do the burn, but because of the weather and the other, I guess, applicants that have been on the list for a long time before us, we just couldn't get the burn done this year. But the good news is he said that we get moved up to the, higher end of the list because we didn't get any burn last year. So we should get them at Negri and John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve. So between that and the mowing, which we just talked about, and then next month we'll talk about the biologic controls, I think we are really, making some progress on the stewardship at the grasslands.
Thank you. The last item we have is the updates on trail conditions from us. I can get started. So, the Franklin Park Natural Area and the Bunker Hill Natural Area are looking pretty good. The graffiti on the fence around the parking lot at Bunker Hill was painted over. It was painted in white, but it was painted over. So that was nice.
Okay.
And yeah, like the main open paths on the yellow trail are being well mowed. And then just like the trails in the woods part are a little, needing more maintenance, from volunteers like me. Um, and the back trail, the brown trail in the middle by the stream, there's a section of it that's just really overgrown. And that hasn't improved since my last report about it, and I haven't been able to address that at this time.
Okay.
But nothing major for Public Works to handle. And then the side going from the stream to Old Fleet Road, South Middlebush Road, that's being well. That's really like they did a nice job. It's pretty wide. Sometimes the overgrowth really kind of comes in, and it's not. So
Good.
they're doing a nice job with that.
Okay, great.
I haven't been able to get out to Butler Road trails, or the Simonson Brook Trail. So I don't know what condition they're in. I have received some complaints about the Yellow Trail, Butler Road. It's not been mowed, but I mean, the last meeting, Terry, you said that Public Works is having difficulty staffing these. Getting
Yeah,
summer staff to do
they're,
this stuff.
yeah,
So,
but I'll get the word to them again
Uh,
that the yellow trail needs mowing.
well, I'll try to get out there and look at it. I'll let you know
Okay.
about it. One thing though is that uh, our granddaughters really like the Children's Trail in Middlebush Park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Love going on the zip line, and they love climbing on the bear and the rocks around there. But quite frankly, it's not being maintained. And I don't know who maintains it. This Parks and Rec have their own maintenance staff,
No, it's
or is it all public
DPW.
public works?
Yeah, it's all
I
DPW.
actually went out with my string trimmer, and I mean the grass is up around the bear statue and the climbing rocks, and it's tall grass along the trails and so on. And that is a special place. I really think, I really, and the athletic fields are maintained. Of course, a lot of them are AstroTurf, but
Right.
even the grass between the AstroTurf gets mowed, and the baseball fields get mowed. But I really like to see some attention played, and it's more than just running a mower through the center of the trail. They got to go out with string trimmers and trim the tall grass from around these sculptures that the kids like to climb on, and
Right.
and around the zip line that they want to get on. And
Got it.
so
Okay. Thank you.
oh, and Anne Marie, they have mowed the area around the east side of the pond.
Oh, nice.
There is a path, there is a mowed path there. I don't know how far it goes, but from the path along the dam, I could see down that they'd mowed at least partway down in that area. But
I hope that if it stays relatively cool, I'll check it out Saturday.
yeah,
Thanks, Chuck.
any other reports?
I don't, Terry, you didn't paint any markers, did you?
I
And
didn't.
it-
It was so hot. It was so hot that I just was like, wow.
No, I agree, but just let me know if,
I
you know,
will.
maybe we look up and we can do that.
I'll let you know for sure. We'll get out there very soon. Yep.
I agree, the weather's just hasn't cooperated, so
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
mind not going out.
Yeah.
By the way, I haven't had a potential Eagle Scout contact me. Did he copy you as well, Tara? Tara Holzer's son?
Don't know.
And we might be able to enlist, he's looking for a project. And I sent an email saying, well, let's go out and walk through some trails. Let's talk about it. You know,
Okay.
one thing you might be able to do is mark trails.
That would be great.
And you know, do it in a eagle-worthy way. You know.
Yes, that would be excellent. Yeah, we can do
it's-
that. I can definitely go with you on that too if you want.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be in touch about it. But
Okay. That'd be great.
Okay. So we've completed our agenda. Anything before we make a motion to adjourn? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Well,
to
just
adjourn?
off topic. Well, if you can hold on just a second, I just have some off topic things.
Yeah.
One, Facebook property taxes came in by mail today. They've been delayed, but they finally
Okay.
arrived. Also, hey, if you want some cheap entertainment, Somerville, Saturday evenings, they have free music on Division Street.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Walkway Mall.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 to 9, they have free music. You can go to Villagers Brewing Company, get a craft brew, bring chairs, and the parking meters stop at 7 o'clock. So after 7 o'clock, you don't have to you don't have to feed the
Nice.
meters. And lastly, there's a local deli that's going to be featured on, you know, Guy Fieri.
Yes.
He has that show, Divers, right?
Yeah.
So Joe's Meat Market in Southbound Brook
Yes, I heard about
is going to
that.
be featured. That's going to be featured this Friday at 9 o'clock on the Food Network. So
Awesome.
wanna
That's
check
gonna
that
be
out.
cool. Yeah, I heard about that.
So you might want to check that out. Some local place. Then everyone goes there after they have seen it on TV.
Nice.
That's it for me.
Speaking of that though, are there any events coming up in Franklin that we should be aware of? Like the Franklin Days? I know they had like this year, right there was like multiple Franklin Days. Tara, I don't
Yes.
know.
There was, yeah. So, well, the first thing that's coming up this weekend on Saturday, the 13th, as I mentioned, is the Week of the People. It's at Naaman Williams Park. Let me just get what's the Naaman Williams Park? I just want to look it up here because I want to make sure I tell you the right information. I'm sorry, let me look. But I know I'm going there for a table, but I believe it's like a celebration. And they have music there and it's supposed to be really fun for that area. So I think it's I want to say it's a long day. It's like 2 to 6 maybe. But if you go to our website, I'm sure there's information about it there. I'm trying to find it right now as we speak. So that's that. And then Franklin Days, I'm on the website here. Let me see if I can find exactly when those are. Because Franklin Days this year are split up into multiple days instead of just the one big day. So I know there's at least another one coming up.
Okay. I just didn't know if that was something that we would want to, I guess we have to figure out where we're going to table, and promote the trails.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find information about this. It should, you would think it would be right. Okay. Give me one more second. I'm just trying to see if I can find anything here. Quarterly taxes, no. Oh, the biking with cops application is open. Yeah, the news. Okay, so let me look and see what I can find
Okay.
about Franklin Days, and I'll get back to you guys, and also about this Week of the People. But yeah, those are coming up.
And Tara, what time are you planning on being at the Week of the People?
Between 1 and 3. Safi and I are both planning on going right now. But that's a plan right now that we're both going. So one of us at least will be there for 100% sure, but we're gonna be there between 1 and 3.
Okay.
Oh, here, okay, so it's advertised. Let me just give me 1 second. Of course, now the computer's going super slow. Okay, so Week of the People is partners with Somerset County Action Program and the Hamilton Street Business District to celebrate its 50th anniversary with 3 family-friendly events. The week-long celebration will have live entertainment, spiritual gatherings, vendors, and activities designed to bridge the gap between life, love, and the community. So the 3 events, I just want to make sure. Nope. Okay, so it's hard to find like the information here, but I'm gonna be there between 1 and 3 for Week of the People. So but I'll get the information. I'll send it to you guys like in more detail so we know what we're doing here.
Okay. And I see like I just looked at the Franklin days. The last Franklin Day is September 24th.
Okay.
Band to be determined.
I think yes, that is because one of the days was more for like committees and things like that, and that might be that September.
I think August 2nd, it said safety municipal vendors.
Okay, yeah. Oh, August. Oh, that was on the National Night Out. That was one of the Franklin days. Okay, right.
Yeah.
And September 24th, but it says township and nonprofit vendors. So yeah, September 24th is from 1 to 5.
Okay.
So yeah, that might be something we can look into. And that's gonna be at
Is that at the gazebo?
the gazebo. Yep.
Okay. Can you find out if that's something that we'd be allowed to hand out like trail maps and stuff?
Yeah, you want to have like a table there basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I will find out.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone? Okay. All right. No opposed, no abstained. All right.
All right.